I don't know anything about sports.
You know who LeBron is, though.
I know who he is, but yeah, I haven't followed his career.
Would you, if he like came? What if he was walking down the street? Would you say, "Hey, what's up"?
No, because I don't do that with any actors.
You would though.
I don't really get.
You don't get starstruck.
There are very few people that I get starstruck. It's mostly music because I respect athletes, I respect actors, I respect anyone that does what they do in a creative endeavor because it's hard work. But there are very few people that I get starstruck at. I'm just trying to think of the last time I saw an actor where I kind of stopped in my tracks. I haven't seen any actors.
I haven't seen any actors.
I see a lot of actors in Vancouver because, Vancouver, our city, is a big film town, right? I mean, there's so many things going on here. TV shows, movies, all the time getting filmed. So I have seen them, but I don't really get starstruck that often.
Fucking who? Bruce Willis?
Well, he's not really doing. He's kind of retired now because he's got health issues. Yeah. But yeah, I don't remember the last time I saw somebody that I was starstruck at. There's certain musicians. There's probably a handful of musicians like Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden. I just love his voice. I love his music, and if I saw him, I'm not sure what I would say. And usually, when I do talk to, and in my job too, my day job, I have seen a couple of really, really well-known musicians come into the store, but it's my job to be professional.
Well-known as in you know them, or
we've had big artists come in. I've talked to the guitar player from Nickelback, and also a lot of other artists who live here. They're Canadian, but they had like Colin James, was a thing in the 80s and 90s, and he still tours, and he's a great musician.
If you told me you're Colin James, I would believe you. I have no idea what he looks like.
Fair enough. Anyways, he had a really good career, still has a good career, tours a lot, and when I talk to these people, I'm not going to fanboy because I don't want them to feel uncomfortable when they come in.
Would you ever tell them, like, oh, I really like that album?
Oh yeah, I'll just be a really big fan, love your music, follow your career for a long time.
This is going to be $400. How would you like to pay?
Yeah, and that's it. It's just like it's a transaction, and a lot of them are really cool. A lot of them are really nice, but I don't want to make people feel weird because ultimately they're just.
That's for a photo, though. I mean, that's not
no.
Weird,
I don't really. Man. I don't like that. I don't like asking people because for me, it's not like I'm gonna look back on that photo. A lot of people will just take photo just to post it on social media and say, "Oh, look who I just talked to." And for me, the thing that I value more is the experience, the exchange, the exchange, and you and I have, like, being in the moment together. That's cool. That's in my memory. That's never going to leave me.
Yeah, but a photo solidifies that memory. So let's say you do get dementia one day, you look at that photo and that brings back.
It's actually a really good point.
Dude, capture the moment. Like Nell said that. He said, true. My dad always liked to capture the moment.
I do like that.
I have that a lot because, dude, there's a lot of like times back in, high school that I wish I took photos of, and I don't have any footage of it. Like, I don't have any documentation. I can't remember it. Yeah. Like, I'll still remember him. I still remember what happened and all those things. But like, just having a photo or like a video from that time, it brings back the nostalgia. It's cool. I'm telling you, start taking video. That's why I always take my phone out and take videos and photos of everything. Because people are like, oh, dude, you're always taking videos or photos. I'm like, dude, these are memories. 5 years down the line, I'm not going to remember this random moment that we're at this supermarket buying this. Mm-hmm. And then when I go through my phone one day and I see this, I'm like, oh, wow. I remember this day. We went hiking. We stopped at a fucking gas station and bought this. Yeah. Right? It's really random. It's not that significant, but that's why I always take photos. True. That's why I always take videos.
I probably don't take enough photos, to be honest with you. So I'm glad you brought that up because that's gonna probably prompt me to think about it next time. But I do have to say that I think there are certain scenarios where I feel that taking photos and videos are kind of pointless. Like when I go to a concert, I see people take, and I'm guilty of this, I've done it too, but I take some low light, crappy video in the dark with horrible audio of a band playing live at the concert. I'm never going to look at that again. I don't understand why.
Right. Well, I mean, you can watch it on YouTube again, the exact same concert. No, I get that part.
That part, it's like, for me, I just rather put my phone away and just enjoy the music. Don't hold your phone out taking video of a concert.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, you're there already.
You want me to be honest with you why people do it
Why?
and why I would do it? Just to let people know that I'm there.
Well, that's what I was saying.
I have insane
Why
scenes.
I just said, like, why do people take photos of celebrities to post online and say, look who I just talked to?
I get it.
Right?
Same with sporting events, like basketball games. Right? Like, just enjoy the basketball, watch the basketball.
Yeah.
And if you want to rewatch the video or want to rewatch the game, just go on YouTube and find the highlights.
Right.
Like, those kind of things, you can rewatch it on wherever.
Of course.
So I understand if you're like, oh, dude, put your phone away and just be present in the moment. And
I'm not saying you shouldn't capture moments. There are certain moments that are important. You know, just last year I went to Greece for the first time, which was fairly significant. Never traveled to Europe. And I never really, my dad's Greek, so I never really felt, I don't speak the language. I never really felt truly connected to the culture until I actually went to Greece and met cousins and met family there and learned more about the history. And I felt like I really connected more with my roots. And so I took lots of photos, and I look back on those photos now because it was a great experience, and I'm always going to cherish that because there are not very many opportunities where you get to go with your whole extended family on a trip like that. And that trip was really important to my dad because it was a dream of his to be able to one day, take his whole family there, and because he's from Athens, right? And he came to Canada with very little money looking for a better opportunity and found work here, created, the typical immigrant story, right? Had a job, had a good career, started a nice family, and that was always a dream of his, and that was finally realized. And it's crazy to admit this, but there's something about traveling that makes me apprehensive, and for a moment I thought about not even going, and I realized that this is crazy because how many opportunities do you get to do that?
Not much.
My mom was going to pay for the whole trip.
Why don't you want to
the
go?
Whole family, right? So I don't know. There was something about
off your routine. Yeah,
it's not just that. It's just there's something about traveling and the hours and the plane, and I don't like planes.
Plane ride is
all that. So, I'm not a huge fan of tropical climates. Like the excessive heat gets to me too. After a while, I'm just so acclimated to this sort of mild weather that we have in the Northwest with the rain, and not like our summers can get hot, but a lot of times
it got pretty hot this past.
It has been, global.
And you get pretty fucking overwhelmed by it. It's like, okay, now let's get back to.
You need air conditioning. Everyone, that's the thing in Europe. Everybody has air conditioning.
It's freezing, dude.
It's weird. It's been really weird lately.
Like I'm wearing a hoodie now.
Yeah.
And yesterday 2 days ago, I was wearing nothing. I just walked out naked.
Yeah. It's really weird. Reminds me of living in Calgary for a while. The weather patterns there.
You lived in Calgary?
I did for 3 months and didn't like it. Didn't like the city. Didn't like the job that I was in. Nothing against Calgary, but at the time, I was a lot younger, and it didn't.
Did you ever think like they might not like you, man? Like Calgary might not like you?
Fair enough. They don't have to deal with me now. I'm gone.
Listen, man, I'm having one of those days, dude. Just one of those days where you try to find excitement out of anything and everything and anything. It's hard though.
Yeah,
I thought the coffee would help, but it's I can sleep. I can drink coffee and go to sleep right after. I could fall asleep.
It doesn't work for me.
So you actually feel the effects?
Oh, I have to cut myself off. I used to be. I mean, I've always been one to drink a lot of coffee, and I still do. But over the years I've had to cut myself off.
Would you say about you're 95% caffeine?
Oh, I'm definitely 95% caffeine. But after 3 o'clock to drink it, I'm not gonna. I used to be such a night person, but now it's completely, the table is being completely flipped. And now I go to bed early, I wake up early. All my important thinking, all my productivity is done in the morning, early, after lunch, like after 12 o'clock. It's really hard for me to do anything really, really.
You know what, Matt? I think that's really hot.
Really? What's hot about it?
That's just very productive.
About the
guy,
just like to get up and
wake up in the morning
things and get it done.
By
the time everybody else is waking up, I'm like, I went to the gym, cut a couple videos.
You please like maybe one of those like gym videos, like fucking fighting my demons right now. Like Alex,
You know what would be funny? I don't know if anybody has done this, but you know how like there's so many people on social media that all these accounts of these people in the gym, just like, yeah, I got up, like, yeah, I just did a couple sets, like all these people that do videos like that, but nobody does video where they just wake up where it's like that mindset, but with working on podcasts or working on creative video content.
or just
Like I
waking
could
up.
have that spin
Okay,
to
but
it.
like, man, people should be more real with it. Like, why can't you take videos of the days when you wake up in the morning and you don't do anything and you just go back to sleep? That's the thing, man. I don't like the fact that we don't show the other side of how the real. It's more realistic to wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning and not get up and go back to sleep. And that's fine. That's the thing. You're not being lazy. You're not being unproductive by doing that. And I just don't like the mindset that you need to wake up at 5 a.m., journal for fucking 10 minutes, meditate for 15, study business strategies, and invest in crypto all before the time of 7 a.m.
Fair enough. I think
like, why does
I think
it
there's
have
a
to be
balance that you could strike between being productive and having time for yourself.
Okay, so what's productive to you? What is productive to you? You wake up in the morning, make coffee, pet your cat.
Yeah, I wake up in the morning. It's the same routine that I try to keep. So immediately go into the shower, make breakfast, coffee, catch up on the news, what's happening, and check my email, check my messages, then sit at my desk and work on the kind of stuff that we do here. So cutting video, and I'll do that I'll do that for about 2 hours, and then
the live stream and shit.
Yeah, and then and sometimes I do that. I'll on office hours, that show that I'm on. I'm usually on 3 days a week. I have to be. It live streams at 7 a.m. Pacific. I have to be in my chair at this desk, ready to go at 6:30 a.m. for a sound check and camera check, and then I do that for 2 hours to 9 o'clock.
Right.
And those are all my days off. And then after I finish that, I'll work on the content for your podcast. And then when I go to my day job, again, wake up really early in the morning, like 4:30 a.m., make breakfast. Then I'll work on this show, and then I go to work for 8 hours, come home, and then have dinner, go to bed early.
Everything
and
you're
then
saying is
rinse and repeat.
Yeah, so everything you're saying is based on schedule. So what if I was
What
if I was to tell you, hey Alex, like I feel like waking up at 8 a.m. because I don't actually have to be out until 10 a.m. And if I wake up at 8 a.m., I can do everything within the 2 hours, and then I can go on with my day. Like, why does it doesn't need to be so. Yeah, waking up early at 5:30 a.m. It does feel great because you can start your day early. You can go to the gym and do all that. But if you do need to sleep a little bit more and go until 7:30, 8 a.m., it's fine. You're not.
I think
you're
the
not,
only
you're not
person
being lazy. You're not sleeping in. You're not being unproductive by doing that. Like, if I was to tell you, hey, I feel like I need to sleep more for me to be able to function, be the best I can be throughout the rest of the day, you can't tell me, oh no, don't. You're wrong. Don't do that. I'm telling you, I need to sleep.
I'm not. I think that's all in your head, though.
No, but
where are you getting this? Because I think
society,
if
you see
need
these
to do
TikToks,
that,
like waking up at 4:30 a.m. while everyone's still asleep, dark out, the fucking birds aren't even chirping yet.
I think you're following the wrong accounts then.
Well, but no.
This is something that's clearly affecting you. You obviously think about this. Why?
Nothing affects me. Nothing.
I think you just need to curate your feed more. Just follow different accounts. If that shouldn't put stress on you. Do you feel like you're not getting enough done? Let me ask you that. Are you not getting enough done? Is that the problem? Or do you feel like you should be doing something that you're not doing?
You know what's weird? People tell me I'm doing a lot, but I don't feel like I am.
I think that's pretty normal. I think that's pretty healthy. I actually think it's a healthy attitude though to think about. But what could I be doing, right?
Yeah,
because you're introspective. You're looking inside, and I think to reevaluate your life is a good thing, and to think about those things.
So one little perspective switch that I've made. I don't know if I've told you this, but I think of this as work now, podcasting.
Me too.
This podcast, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I think you have
someone asks me, "Oh, what are you doing on Sunday or Monday?" And if we have an episode, I just tell them I'm working. Like that's how locked in I am.
I think that's a really good attitude and a good way to approach this, because I always tell people that you need to treat it like a job, because otherwise you're not going to take it seriously. You're not going to do it. You're not going to work hard. You're not going to do it on a consistent schedule. You have to treat it like a job.
And you have
to show up
you'll
like
start
a job,
thinking
right?
of it as
you
a
just
job.
do you just show up whenever you feel like it? No, your employer wouldn't have that. You'd be fired. Right? So why do you treat your podcast anyway? Why do you do one episode whenever the hell you feel like? You're never going to never going to build
it makes me think outside the box now. What things I could do to improve it and make the job better. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
you have
to. You know who told me that actually?
Who did?
I don't know if we can say his name. But like the comedy show I went to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's what he told me. You need to treat it like a job. That's actually what he said to me.
Well, yeah. I mean, as a stand-up comedian, I mean, to be successful, right? That's a grind too. Like what we do. You have to be out there. You gotta be working.
Yeah.
All the time. You have to constantly be working on.
Dude, I was ready to do an episode right there and then at fucking 12 or 11 p.m. Except he just said, "Oh, I have a fucking flight at 6 a.m." So I said, "Fuck." And well, he said I have his word 3 times. My friend was there. He's a witness.
I have to give you credit, because I don't think that's something I would have done. I wouldn't have walked in there with a camera and ready to interview.
Dude, I told you I had a fucking nervous breakdown right before it. Not a nervous breakdown. Where we were standing in line.
What happened?
Meet and greet. I told you about this. Okay, so it's a lineup, right? Just for the meet and greet. Me and my buddy went to the very back just because we didn't want to like make anyone wait behind us. You know, if I was talking to him a little bit too long, I don't want anyone to get pissed off. So we went to the very back, and then there was 4 more people in front of us, and then all of a sudden, dude, this fucking rush of anxiety just hit me out of nowhere, because he kept getting closer and like bigger and bigger, and I just thought, damn, like this is it. It's
real.
It's coming. Like I need to get ready to it's a sales pitch. And we were lined up by like these booths, right? Like where people sit down, like a restaurant, like a bar type thing. And my buddy's standing right there. And then, man, out of nowhere, this fucking rush of anxiety came over me, and I had to fucking sit down. I had to sit down, and I just been like I knew what I was going to say to him. I was pretty comfortable about just saying, "Oh, hey, man, like, I really like what you're doing. You're a big inspiration of mine in the podcast world. I'd love to do an episode right now. I have my stuff here. I know you're really busy." But as soon as we got close, dude, I was like, I couldn't get the words out. I couldn't even like move my mouth. I had to like sit down. I almost told my friend, dude, when it was our turn, like one person in front of us, I almost told my friend, like, "Yo, you go in front. I can't do this. Like, I can't do this right now." Like, my brain started going like laser beams out of nowhere. Boom, boom. Smoke coming out of my ears. And then when the person in front of us went and it was our turn, it was similar to like a fucking head nose fucking dive into the ocean. Just go into it.
Wow.
And yeah, I just started, I mean, it's a fucking human being. I don't know why I was freaking out like that, but I'm going to tell you what really bothers me. When people reply lol, LOL, just lol. I don't know. No, just fucking say something after the lol. It's just conversation TKO. It's done. But it's nothing to be stressed about. We're here drinking my fucking coffee. Life is good.
So you had a moment in the lineup where you had that breakdown. Then when you actually were face to face with him, did all that go away very quickly? Because you realized I have to keep myself, like I have to keep my composure.
I just went into overdrive. It was, what is it, like autopilot. Because
you felt like you weren't driving the ship. Did you feel like did you have like a sort of weird out of body experience?
Yeah, basically.
Like,
I wasn't.
Like I'm almost like I'm not Mo right now, kind of a thing.
Yeah, I was just going. My mouth was just going.
You weren't even sure what you were saying, or
I knew what I was saying because I was rehearsing before. I knew beforehand, like what I'm not gonna just like go in there not thinking about what I'm gonna say.
I'm prepared, right?
But yeah, just the prep was enough for me to just like open my mouth and just go. But I wasn't actually like present in my own body. And at one point I think I stalled for a little bit. And my friend actually jumped in. he helped me out because he even said like
So he saw it.
I heard you like you were choking for a little bit. It wasn't even that big of it wasn't even that big of a choke, but he came in pretty hot. He said
that's good that he helped you out.
Yeah, he said something like, "Oh, he had 900 followers last month. He's gained like 3,000 in the past month." And then that's when the comedian said, "Go talk to my brother. He's my manager, and we can sort this out." He still follows us right now.
That's really cool. I did not expect that at all.
Yeah.
I mean, someone of his caliber to be able to. Let's keep his name out of it because it would be a really nice surprise to people when we actually get him on.
Yeah.
Which
we will. It's just
he blow people away.
He needs to be in Vancouver though. He needs to actually.
That's right. Yeah.
Hope he.
Yeah, I don't know if because his show, he doesn't really have remote guests. He doesn't do anything over Zoom.
He does.
Does he?
He has his own studio and he has.
But I've only seen people like there in person. I've never seen him do. Has he done stuff with Zoom before?
Yeah,
like,
he has the. I know which show you're talking about.
Yeah.
With the two hosts, but then he has his own solo show. It's about.
So he has interviewed people.
Yeah, he can
remotely.
He can do remotely.
Yeah.
I mean,
he probably doesn't prefer it like us. Like we prefer the face to face.
I mean, the quality is pretty good, so it wouldn't really. The face to face is obviously the way to go, but
these days you can do remote video,
and his quality is top notch. So we wouldn't need to.
Yeah, because he's got the cameras and he's got the cameras and everything,
and the mics and everything. So
yeah,
I mean that's an option. I could message his brother and see if we could do that.
Yeah. Either way,
I don't know if he's going to come to Vancouver.
I would be grateful that he would do it. Period. Whether he was here or whether it was done remotely, just to have his time to be able to join us would be incredible. Yeah. I can't believe you don't like John Wick. This got brought up on the last podcast with Bob Peng, but I can't believe you don't like John Wick.
It just doesn't do it. It's not fucking
I haven't seen the new one yet, but I love all.
I've only seen the first one.
I love action movies in general.
I just watched the first one and I didn't think it was that entertaining.
What was it about it?
Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. This is
do you not like gun battles?
I do. I mean, I'm not like I don't have a hard on for it. I'll take it or leave it type thing. But here's the thing. This is a very unpopular opinion. I love Keanu Reeves as a person. I think he's one of the best human beings alive. I think as an actor, he is so fucking not good.
I wouldn't.
Do you think he's like? Do you think Keanu Reeves is a good actor?
I don't think he's great. No, he's a little wooden. In his performance. In his delivery.
Absolutely.
I just feel like in a lot of the movies that he does, he's got the same kind of delivery, cadence. Demeanor. He's always kind of got this kind of similar sort of wooden cadence. Not a lot of. There's not a lot of dynamics to his performance, which is tough for me to say because, like you said, he's such a good guy and you want to like him.
Love the guy, yeah.
But as a performer, he's not that great.
Right. So, okay.
But I do like for what he does, for the type of stuff that he does, because he kind of knows. I think he's very aware of what he's good at. You know what I mean? Like he's one of those actors where he'll do something that's in his wheelhouse. So you don't see him stretching, trying to do some kind of method acting thing. You know what I mean? Like a Jared Leto or Jake Gyllenhaal in what was that movie where he was that psychopath
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler. He's not that kind of actor that's going to try to stretch his performances. But when he does something like John Wick, it's like, okay, because he's convincing in that role because he did all that training, right? He did all the gun training. He's doing most of his own stunts, right? It's believable. I believe
he looks like an athlete that's out of his prime, though. I don't even the movements he was doing, it wasn't very athletic. He doesn't look athletic in that movie. Like I feel like in that role, you got to be kind of frisky and athletic. I don't think he was kind of moving slow.
I thought the fight choreography was really good in those movies.
I found it overrated. I didn't think it was that.
What's a good action movie that involves
the Liam Neeson
any kind of martial arts or gun battles or anything like that? You like the Taken movies?
Taken movies were good.
Yeah.
I know people think they're corny.
They get old after a while. It's like after a couple, it's like, yeah.
Neeson is good in them. How many times? Neeson's fucking entertaining.
He's good. He is good.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's just
Listen to me very carefully.
Like, that is sick. That's so good.
I'm going to find you, and I will
Kill you. I mean, shit.
His American accent is hilarious, though. He's not. I wouldn't say Liam Neeson's the best at doing an American accent. Listen to me very carefully.
Well, another movie here. Is it Ireland? He's Irish.
He's Irish. Okay, there we go.
Okay. Well, he doesn't have an Irish accent. Not really.
He does. It does come through. I think he takes it off. He tries to take it off a little bit in interviews, but you do hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other movies, fucking Harrison, Indiana Jones. I mean, there's no guns.
Well, yeah, I mean, those are classic. I mean, Raiders of the Lost Ark is the best indie film out there in all the ones that they made. But I love Harrison Ford too.
Love him.
He's done a lot of good movies. He did a couple of those movies that were based on the Jack Ryan book series too. Air Force One, that was a good one. Where he was with the president and they hijacked that plane. That was good.
Is that with Whitney Houston? Oh, that's Bodyguard. Never mind. No. That's with fucking what's his name?
What's another one too that
Kurt Russell.
Kurt
Russell. Fuck.
I always forget the name of it. The one that he did with Tommy Lee Jones, where he's a doctor and he gets framed for murder. He's on the run for the whole movie, and the name's escaping me right now. But that's
hold on, wait. Bodyguard. Fucking Kevin Costner.
That's Kevin Costner. I do like Kevin Costner too.
Yeah.
He's a good actor. Yellowstone's an amazing series with Kevin Costner. If you haven't seen that,
is that the one that's always on TV? The ads. Is it relatively new?
It's been out. They're what 5 seasons in, I think, but it's available. There are some. I think the first 3 seasons are available for free on Amazon Prime, but now the rest of it is on Paramount Plus. But he plays John Dunn, right? So it's basically
don't know who that is.
It's a fictional character, but he's basically on a ranch, the Dutton Ranch, right? And it's just a lot about. There's a lot of shady stuff that happens on that ranch. Like they hire a lot of the people that work on the ranch are, ex-cons and stuff like that, and you have to pledge your loyalty to the Dutton Ranch. He brands people that work with him, so everyone basically you can never leave that ranch.
Well, like a metal.
Yeah, like he actually
like a metal.
Like the Dutton Ranch brand. They brand people.
How much would I have to pay you to do that?
And if you don't, and if you ever leave the ranch basically or do something wrong, like they'll just like straight up kill you. They just straight up murder you.
How much do I have to pay you to brand a Nazi logo on your ass cheek?
No dollar figure.
$10 million.
No dollar figure.
$10 million.
No.
10 million. So you're telling
somebody is going to see that at some point. I would never ever.
Listen, dude. 10 million in cash right in front of you on that table.
I'm not answering.
I have the brander right here. I have the fucking stick right.
Where is this coming from?
Spontaneous thinking. Okay, fuck the Nazi sign. Let's say, I don't know, my name.
You're saying everybody has a price? Is that what you're saying?
I think there is a price.
Everybody could be bought?
Yes. Mo.
That's probably not wrong.
How about 2 letters, M-O, on your right ass cheek? Branded.
For $10 million?
Yeah.
I'd probably do it.
How about 3 million?
That's a lot of money. I probably would. That's fairly insignificant.
Yeah.
That's an insignificant
You'd be able to take the pain?
I've never had a tattoo, but sure, why not? How painful can it be?
Yeah.
For $3 million?
I always like playing those like...
You take a lot of pain for $3 million.
How about chop off your leg? Not your leg, your ankle.
No.
Let's say your foot.
No, I wouldn't want to lose any body parts, no.
Yeah. I always like playing those games, like would you rather, or like what would you do? How much would it take? It always gets me thinking. Like what would I do? How far would I take this?
Let's go back to movies and talk about top 5 movies. Do you have a top 5 list? Could you name them?
I already have one
right now.
Scarface,
of
number
course.
1.
How did I know you were going to say that?
It has a lot of history and shit. It's gotten me through a lot of shit. Let's just say that. It really gets
not
hard.
Any specific genre, just like
it really gets hard after
the movies that you could go back to and rewatch over and over and over again. Okay.
Hangover,
Yeah.
Planet of the Apes, the new one.
Like the new trilogy.
The new trilogy.
Yeah.
Not the third one.
How many did they make? Three,
Three.
4?
3.
Those were really good.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah.
Andy Serkis.
Oh my God, they're
So
good.
good.
Oh my God, they're so good. Yeah. I've never been attracted to an animal because that's weird. But I could see people having a crush on Caesar, the ape leader.
Well, because he has.
If someone said, "Oh, I think
Because he's a good leader.
yeah,
That's attractive.
it's really attractive."
Yeah. Personality.
Yeah, it's weird to say.
And he has loyalty.
I mean, it's
Family is important.
it's very important to him.
Yeah. Yeah, those are good
It's
qualities.
the most important thing. It's all that matters.
Except for the hair. Got a lot of body hair.
Yeah, that first one was really good with James Franco. I watched that twice in movie theaters. If you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, but the first time he says like a word, like English words, when he starts speaking, he yells, "No!" And he fucking like punches fucking who's the villain in Harry Potter? The blonde guy? Fucking name.
Oh, I don't know.
Motherfucker, what's his name?
Those movies are a blur now.
Yeah.
I'm not even that.
Well,
big
he's
of
in the
a
movie. He's
Harry
the villain.
Potter
He's
fan.
like the zookeeper or whatever.
Okay.
Just smacks the shit out of him. Everyone in the fucking movie theater started like clapping. We're like, "Yeah, Caesar, stand up to him, motherfucker!" And then, yeah, that was fucking. It got me, man. That movie made me emotional. And the second one was really good as well. It's really hard to have a sequel that's as good or even better. And that
I feel like they kept. It
third
kept
one was
getting
shit though. Third one started off really dark out of nowhere. So basically, Woody fucking Harrelson fucking butchers his whole family, Caesar's whole family, and then the whole movie he's trying to like get some get back.
Yeah. I like all the movies. I think they're all pretty strong. Top 5 movies.
I didn't even tell you my top 5. Okay, here, want me to tell you?
You got more?
Yeah, Scarface, Hangover, Planet of the Apes 1 or 2. That can be third.
Sure.
1 or 2. I don't want to see comedy, man, because comedy's it doesn't have substance. You can't really have
some of them do.
Well, I did say Hangover, but Hangover is just a fucking classic. Like, I'm not gonna say Dumb and Dumber.
It doesn't have to have substance. It's just, is it a movie that you? It's one of your favorites. It doesn't matter. I like a lot of bad movies, like objectively bad movies, but they're cheesy, and I'll still watch them over and over and over.
I'll tell you this one,
Okay.
Moneyball.
I haven't seen Moneyball.
Dude, you haven't watched
think
any
I've seen
good
Moneyball.
movies. You haven't watched Hangover. You didn't watch Whiplash until I told you to,
Yeah.
and you haven't watched Moneyball.
Well, I've seen a lot
you
of
say
good
you're
movies.
a movie guy, but you're not. You're not a movie guy if you haven't seen those 3. You've seen Whiplash, but I fucking forced you to watch it for 2 weeks, and then you liked it so much that you bought the fucking DVD right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Motherfucker, man.
I've seen a lot of good movies. I just haven't seen some of the ones that
Clearly
you
not.
watched.
You haven't fucking seen Hangover, and what did I just say?
I guess I should watch Hangover now. You know what movie I like?
What movie did I just say?
Jean-Claude Van Damme in Lionheart. Have you seen a lot of old Jean-Claude Van Damme
I
movies?
watch a lot of Van Damme movies, but
Yeah, like Bloodsport and stuff like that.
Bloodsport, Kickboxer.
Yeah, Kickboxer. Well, there's this one movie that he called Lionheart, where basically he's a deserter in the military. He leaves the military to take care of, just trying to think, was it his sister that died or something like that? And anyways, it's the whole movie's about family and stuff like that. But then the military, they're trying to find him, and then because they want to put him in jail for deserting, basically. And he ends up like he comes to America, and he's trying to figure out ways. He kind of just falls into this street fighting thing to make money, right? Because he's trying to make money to basically take care of what family he has left. And so there's this whole thing, like this crazy lady that's like this corporate. She's wealthy, and she has all these other business people that are in this whole underground fighting ring. And so they basically they get all these rich people together, and they all bet money, and they hire just like these street thugs, like low lives, like nobodies, people that won't be missed, to basically just fight, no rules, nothing, right? These underground fights. And I love that movie. It's super corny, but it's one of the ones
You're
that
a corny
like.
guy.
He's done some pretty. I'm a corny guy.
I'm kidding.
I'm
kidding, man.
Okay,
I'm kidding. You're very proper, I would say. That's the best way to explain it. That's the first word that came to mind when I thought of.
So keep going. And I'll watch these movies.
Dude, the one movie you told me to watch that you really loved, I'm gonna be honest with you, was so fucking boring.
Which one?
Deer Hunter.
They just released that on 4K finally.
Dude,
I'm gonna have to watch that again.
I'm out after an hour.
Really?
I'm out.
Okay. Well, it's a really kind of slow paced. It's a bit of a downer.
It's trying to get something out of you, and it's trying to make a fucking point. But man, that wedding fucking scene at the start was a little too long, dude. Like, let's get to the chase. Let's get it. That's the thing with movies and TV shows. The people that say that, the people that give me the suggestion to watch a movie or a TV show and they really like it and it has a lot of, for whatever fucking reason, let's get to it. What is it? What's going on? What's the appeal? What's the entertainment here? What are you trying to get at? Or else I'm out. I can't do it. I don't find it. I try really hard. Like, I tried really hard to watch Deer Hunter and get the best out of it, but I couldn't.
I will say that there's been a shift, I think, in the way they make movies, because a lot of older movies,
attention spans,
they
right?
A lot of older movies move slower, which I like, but it's not for everyone. Like, I'm really into...
Only one that's different is Godfather. I would say Godfather, it is pretty slow. And I would understand why someone would think it's really boring, but I enjoy that type.
You do? So, okay, so you're not opposed... It's not like you don't like slower movies.
But also Pacino is in it, and Brando and De Niro, so it has
they chew up the scenery, too, every time they're on.
Pacino is an absolute mega sex symbol in that. His vibe, his acting is unmatched in that. So I'll let it go. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll give him credit. If it was anyone else, like fucking...
You're not really into old films, eh? Like black and white film noir, crime noirs, or any of that old stuff?
Well, I'm into old Psycho.
Old Hollywood stuff?
I'm into Psycho, though, the original one. Who's in it?
What about old horror movies? Are you a horror movie guy?
I love it. It's therapeutic to me.
Yeah, really?
It really is.
Yeah.
You know what, man? I think... I don't know if I told you this, but...
I still got to see the Poughkeepsie tapes. I'm trying to get a copy of that.
Oh my God, that movie fucked me up. For anyone watching and listening, watch. Listen, I personally don't think I don't get scared of scary movies. It doesn't really affect me. But that movie got to me.
It takes a lot to really.
It took a lot.
I don't get scared, but I like the psychological.
It's not
thrillers.
Even. It was when the
disturbing ones. You know, the ones where you get that. You know, where you finish it and you feel
gross.
You
feel gross inside.
You feel like there's something wrong here.
Something wrong. Why did I... Like, when it ended on my laptop, I closed my laptop and I said, I could have gone better without watching that. My night, I feel like a dirtier person watching that. That's what it left me with. And I actually... It's
almost like peering into somebody's window. Like, you shouldn't be doing it.
Yes, exactly. Like, why did I just watch that? What? I didn't benefit anything from that, and it also made me feel worse about humanity and society. It made me lose even more faith.
Probably the intention of the filmmakers to make you feel that way.
Yeah. Well, I found it on YouTube where I was literally trying to find like a scary movie to watch. I searched up top 10 horror movies that really get to you, and apparently this one in the comment section it was praised and suggested a lot. So I said, okay, I'm doing it. But yeah, that one stuck with me for like a day, dude. The whole next day, I was still kind of thinking of it. And it wasn't like a demon or gory shit, because that kind of shit is also not that scary to me anymore. Gory kind of grosses me out. Demon, I guess, could be scary.
I'm trying to watch a lot of older classic horror movies, and the list is so long, I just barely scratched the surface
of them. If you watch like the old Poltergeist, you'll think it's so stupid. During that time, it was sick.
I've seen it.
During that time, it was a whole different thing. Like, holy fuck.
You ever watched Children of the Corn?
No, what the hell is that?
Look that up. Children of the Corn.
Watch Poughkeepsie Tapes. Watch.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers. That's another one.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah. Have you seen the original Carrie?
No.
They did a remake, right? But
dude, what was the one with the fucking car? The car was like alive and had a demon in it.
Oh God.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Stupidest movie. I watched it on AMC. You know what's wrong? Like, the car was alive. The car had a fucking life of its own.
Pretty dumb. There was one 80s horror movie that I watched recently. Was it called Shopping Mall or something like that? It was just these teens basically that work at the mall. They end up staying in the mall after hours, after it's closed, so they can just party and mess around. And things go wrong pretty quickly because this new mall has this state-of-the-art automated robot security system. And the robots, they're not even scary looking. And they're just like, the robots start to malfunction and start shooting lasers and killing all the teenagers. It's super corny, but it's just
Need laser.
I'm going to find the name of it right now because it's hilarious.
No, man.
I love cheesy
I love scary movies. It's a weird escape for me. Because I always tell people, what's scarier than life? What's scarier than, finding a job, having a roof over your head?
Oh, it's Chopping Mall.
Chopping Mall. Ha ha ha.
That's the poster.
Oh, that looks fucking corny.
Where shopping costs you an arm and a leg. That's the tagline.
Bro, and you tell me why I think you're corny.
I love that though. That's hilarious. A group of young shopping mall employees stay behind for a late night party in one of the stores. When the mall goes on lockdown before they can get out, the robot security system malfunctions and goes on a killing spree.
That sounds so bad. I'm fucking not watching that. Dude, I'm telling you, watch Poughkeepsie Tapes. Watch Skinamarink.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
It's weird. The camera angles, dude. The camera angles, I think I told you this, is you don't see like the fuck, how do I explain it?
Sorry, look at those robots.
Oh God, I can just tell it's fucking terrible. I guarantee you this got like 10% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm gonna search it out.
If it helps, there's some boobies in it, so that's one of the reasons why you want to watch it. But yeah, look at that.
At what point are their boobies? Oh, they probably start fucking in the mall, right?
Well, exactly.
Chopping Mall. You know what?
It could streaming anywhere.
It could possibly have gone, 55%. 39% on audience score. Do you ever go on Rotten Tomatoes just to...
Absolutely, all the time.
You do it before you watch the movie or after?
A lot of times I'll when a new movie comes out, I'll check just to see like how is it doing, but it's not always a good gauge because there are a lot of movies that have gotten really terrible.
But you love them.
But I just love them.
You know one?
It's just guilty pleasure.
One I love.
Like what?
Kangaroo Jack.
Kangaroo Jack.
Fucking it has a place in my heart.
Worst CG ever. Like one of those early CG movies. It's so bad. So bad. I actually haven't seen it. I've only seen the trailer.
So
it looks so terrible.
So good.
Lewis,
I want to go back to Brooklyn.
When did that come out? Early 2003.
Dude, I remember vividly walking into Walmart with my mom and my mom buying that movie for me.
Jerry O'Connell.
And she asked the person working there, hey, do you have the movie Kangaroo Jack? My mom pronounced it as Kangaroo Jack because she's Persian and she had a little bit of an accent.
That's pretty funny.
And the worker was like, Kangaroo Jack?
Kangaroo Jack.
And I stepped in as like an 11-year-old. I'm like, Kangaroo Jack.
That sounds like something my dad would do.
Yeah.
You know, when I was a kid, I don't know if I ever told you this, but just as a quick aside, I don't know if they still make this cereal, but there's this cereal called Cruncharoos.
Yeah, I remember that.
Anyways, he walks into the kitchen, he sees the box of cereal, picks it up, and he reads it this way: Cruncheros?
Cruncheros?
Cruncheros. I'm like, no, Dad, it's Cruncharoos.
Dad, Cruncharoos.
God, what's wrong with you?
Fuck, man. Motherfucker. You just started cussing him out. Just so mad.
Okay, so we've established you like horror movies. and you're not a
I used to hate him, man. I used to really hate him.
Yeah.
I used to
See,
really.
I like certain types of horror movies. I'm not a huge slasher fan. Like I've watched some of those movies, some of the Friday the 13th movies, but they get old really quick because it's just the same formulaic. I'm just tired of
Friday
watching
the
a bunch of
13th franchise really dropped down after a while. The ones that kept going were Halloween, I think. Halloween did really well.
You know what was actually a really funny one? When they did that Jason versus Freddy movie.
I never watched
Did you ever watch that?
I never even watched any Freddy movies.
Hilarious. I love them all. The first one is really good. Even the third one,
So the Freddy movies
Dream
are the
Warriors,
Elm Street ones, right?
have the whole box set if you want to borrow it on Blu-ray.
I'm kind of down. The Freddy ones?
Yeah, I have the
Those
whole
are
box
all
set.
Elm Street.
Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's what it's all called.
Yeah,
It's not actually called Freddy.
No, it's Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay.
A series, yeah. So that's what they are all at. The name starts with Nightmare on Elm Street, and then there usually will be a specific title like Dream Warriors or Freddy's Revenge or whatever.
I never got to the Nightmare on Elm Street ones. I don't know why. I just haven't watched them.
Yeah, they're not as scary as I was deathly afraid of Freddy Krueger as a kid, even though I'd not seen it. And the reason why is there was this one kid in elementary school that would torment me. He had the Freddy Krueger glove, like with the claws and stuff like that. And he would always tell me he's going to kill you in your sleep and stuff like that. And I got it into my head that
You just bring it to school every day?
he would, he was obsessed with it.
The teacher would let him do it?
Like, we were like 7, 8 years old, like way too young to even watch those movies. Yeah. But he would always talk about it, and I got it into my head. And then when I saw a TV commercial for the movie, the commercial for the movie is just like Freddy Krueger, and he's in this dark alley, and you only see a bit of his burnt face, and I couldn't sleep. It was so bad.
Why do you?
But then I watched it as an adult. I'm like, this is not scary. This is kind of hilarious.
You know what I don't understand, dude? When people say, "Oh, you're not going to be able to sleep after a scary movie," that's not the anxiety I get when I used to watch scary movies and they used to get to me. My initial reaction wasn't, "Oh, fuck, I can't go to sleep." It was just worry and anxiety. I would try to go to sleep just to get away from the anxiety.
Yeah.
I don't know. Why is it, "Oh, you can't fall asleep"?
Well, some people do have a problem with that. I mean, I certainly did.
So, but okay, what I'm asking is, what's going on for you that you can't fall asleep after watching a scary movie?
Well, it's more
Because
so
for me, it's like I'm like terrified. I'm just sitting there like, holy fuck, the demons coming to get me, but I can still fall asleep if I wanted to.
Well, when I was a kid, I believed in, because I loved those Ghostbuster movies, and then I had a friend who was really into ghosts, and then we would as kids we would try to build our own equipment to detect ghosts, and so I was like, I really believed in the ghost world and all this sort of stuff, and poltergeists and all this kind of stuff. So I really got into it. So I actually in my head really believed that this stuff existed. So
right. So, but I'm asking, why couldn't you fall asleep? I guess like why?
Because I would believe things in the night would actually come.
So hard.
Because I would believe things in the night would come and get me.
So okay, as soon as the morning came and you woke up, that fear and that anxiety was gone.
It was gone, but trying to get to sleep would be a problem.
It would fuck with me the whole next day during the day.
You never had problems getting to sleep as a kid? Like, were you afraid of the dark?
I mean, here and there, like sounds and shit. Yeah,
I had to have a nightlight.
I had a nightlight. I
had a serious problem with the dark as a kid.
I had a lava lamp for a while.
And even when I was a kid, we lived in a duplex, and we always lived with, like, our grandparents would be on another part of the house, usually up top. They had their own suite. And so I just remember many times where, we would be upstairs hanging out, and then my parents were gone, and the whole downstairs floor was in complete darkness. And so just even the fact of walking down the stairs and peering down this dark hallway, there was something like deep inside me. I couldn't even walk down it.
You ever think like, oh, if I turn around, Michael Myers is standing right there?
Yeah. Well, because other kids talked about like that whole the whole myth of Bloody Mary. If you say Bloody Mary 3 times in the mirror, and it got into my head.
Did you ever do it?
Got it in my head. No,
I've never done it.
No, I was too afraid. Because I thought, well, what if I can't risk it? What
can't
if?
risk it? Yeah, we'll risk it.
What if?
Fuck,
right?
You want to do it right now? Let's do it right now.
No.
Oh, let's do it on the pod. Let's fucking do it, please. If we get fucking murked, who cares, dude? If we get absolutely blasted by some old witch fucker,
What if the power turned off right then? What would you do?
honestly, dude,
Would you freak
how
out?
cool would that be? How cool would that be? If we went to the washroom right now and said Bloody Mary 3 times and some entity came out of nowhere and absolutely ravaged our fucking being. How
I don't think that
insane would that be?
Well, I don't know about you, but
Let's live.
I don't
Let's
have
live a little.
I don't have a death wish. I have a lot to live
But
for.
you know
so-
deep down, that's crazy. You know deep down that nothing is gonna happen.
Of course.
Then let's fucking do it.
We could do it right now. I don't care, but
See?
there's nothing.
Fucking pussy.
But you got to do it in
Kidding,
front
man.
of a mirror.
Don't take that personal. I don't know why I just said that. You're really
I'm not taking it personally, believe me. So we're still talking about horror movies. What have you seen anything from the 50s and 60s?
No, I haven't.
You can tell that old Hollywood vampire
I
stuff.
haven't gone.
Bela Lugosi and Christopher Lee.
I mean, at that point, it's not even scary anymore, man.
Those are classics, though.
Those are classics during that time because there wasn't anything like that during that time.
You don't like those old, like even the first Dracula.
They don't
was
scare me. I
Bela
understand.
Lugosi.
I understand why it would be scary during that time. If I was born in the 50s, yeah, I'd be fucking terrified. Like imagine people in the 50s watching Insidious now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, it takes.
Insidious is a great movie though. Like that's a rewatchable.
Insidious. I hear it's really
Oh
good.
my goodness!
You know what? I hear it's really good.
You
too?
haven't watched anything, dude.
What about
You cannot say you're a movie guy. You cannot say you're a movie guy.
Okay, I know. I haven't had a lot of time to watch it.
It's confirmed. You're not a movie guy. You have no idea, and you don't know anything about movies.
Okay, I don't know anything.
You haven't
about
watched
movies.
Insidious, Moneyball, Hangover, Whiplash. When I told, come on,
I spend a lot of time watching stuff that I've seen before.
have you seen Paranormal Activity?
Yes, was not a big fan of that one.
That shook up a lot of people when it came out. I remember when it came out in high school. Yeah. We all went to the movies and watched that, and we were all like in the movies, just fucking. Oh my god, dude! Holy shit, dude! Fuck.
I remember watching the Blair Witch Project because they did this huge marketing campaign about it, and then I watched it. I was like, eh.
You didn't think it was scary?
Yeah. No, not really.
Why is it rated one? Isn't it rated one of the most scariest movies ever?
According to who?
Some list on.
I don't know about that, but I didn't think it was.
It's considered one of the scariest movies ever.
No, you know what? You know what movie's really messed up? Just because it's so visceral. But that first Hostel movie, did you ever see that?
Yes, that was.
Oh,
that was.
There's something about that, man. Like
with that
drill going into the eyeball.
Yeah.
Oh,
and even the guy that survives where he has like the gag ball thing. And
it just makes you feel
starts
ill.
Puking through it.
I'll never watch that movie again.
Yeah,
never watch it.
That was the movies like that where they push a button are the ones that get to me.
They're good for the first watch because it's like, well done. You did your job. You made me feel unsettled, but I'll never watch.
Unsettling. It's that unsettling feeling.
But I'll never watch it again. And I'm fine with that. It was good. It did its job, but I'm not going to watch it again.
Do you think horror movies are meant to be watched again?
I think some are.
You're pretty psychotic if you rewatch Paranormal Activity every month, right? I mean, you're kind of off. Like some.
Yeah, I don't watch them. I don't watch them a whole lot. Did you ever see that Nicolas Cage movie, Mandy?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, you did watch it. That
up.
Chainsaw fight scene was insane.
I mean, it was pretty.
I love it. I think that's one of the better Nick Cage movies too. Yeah. He's actually done some good stuff. But
there was another scene in that movie which was way worse in my opinion. I forgot. It was near the end.
I don't even remember.
I was like, oh my god, that is so much worse than the Chainsaw movie or scene. Yeah.
Yeah. Nick Cage. So actually, speaking of Nick Cage, so Mandy, Lord of War, Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans. That's a really good movie too. I even like Bangkok Dangerous. That was a pretty decent one too.
Did anyone ever do the thing on you where it's like, what's the capital of Thailand? And they'd fucking sack you in the nuts and be like, Bangkok.
No, I know of that, but no, never. Nobody's ever done
I got
that to
Bangkok
me.
like 10 times
Really?
as a kid. Like, I'll think about it and I'll be like,
You didn't,
wait,
you didn't knock.
no!
You didn't knock
And
the
then
other
just
guy.
fucking
You didn't knock
flying
the other
fist
guy.
at my fucking balls.
Oh jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned after like the 6th time that a fucking fist was coming right at my fucking.
So if somebody ever did that to me, I'd probably knock him out.
Could you
if they did
imagine?
that. No, unfortunately, I never had that happen to me.
What's your top 5? You didn't tell me your top 5.
I didn't tell you my top 5. I've never really written down a list, so it's really, really tough to say, but I can give you a few. The first 2 Batman movies that were done by Tim Burton, Batman Returns, because I love Michael Keaton. I saw them in the theater, so you can imagine, like, as a kid walking and seeing that, like, made a huge impression on me.
Wait, Michael Keaton came to the theater?
No, Michael Keaton. I'm just saying I'm a big fan of Michael Keaton.
Okay. But he didn't actually physically come to the...
I watched them in the theater when they came out. And so those first 2, Dark City, I love that movie. That's definitely one of my top, if not top 5, top 10 movies that I've seen.
Bridesmaids?
No. Oh,
Which curveball would that be if you just said that?
It's a bit of a cult hit, but there's a movie that came out in the late 80s called With Nail and I, and it's largely considered one of the most quotable movies ever, with Richard E. Grant, and I can't remember the name of the other guy. He played the Doctor on Doctor Who for one season, and I can't for the life of me remember what his name is, but it's an amazing movie about these 2. It was a low budget movie, didn't really make any money, but it became kind of a cult hit, and it's about these 2 struggling, really poor guys that are living together, that are trying to make a career as an actor, right? And they're just not getting jobs, they're not getting calls, and they're just living in squalor. This fucking disgusting apartment in some small town in England. Yeah. And, they're just experimenting with drugs and just trying to get through life. And it's a really funny movie, but it's also dark at times as well. So that is definitely on my list. And I don't know if I could list a top 5, but those are the ones that immediately come to mind for sure.
I think it's more so the ones that you can rewatch over and over again, where those become your top 5s, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that
even if it's considered a stupid movie, man, I think with movies and music or anything like that, it's very subjective.
Yeah.
For example, I guarantee you, probably 98% of society probably thinks Kangaroo Jack is the stupidest movie, but
I'm sure that there's nothing wrong with
a place
that.
in my heart that it brings me back to when I was a child.
Well, that's what a lot of that is about, right? You were at a certain place in your life, and there's some kind of connection there to whatever it is.
I still think it's funny as fuck though too.
Yeah. There's tons of terrible movies that are that didn't do well that I absolutely love. That there was a movie. It was a spoof on Chinese martial arts movies. It was called Kung Pao, The Legend of the Fist. Have you ever seen that? Oh my God. The whole movie is, I can't remember the name of the guy that was in it. He's a stunt guy, and he was the main character, but they did a lot of green screen, so they basically took a lot of old footage from these Chinese movies and basically green screened him into it. And it's a lampoon. It just totally makes fun of those movies.
Yeah.
I've never laughed that hard in my entire life.
Yeah.
I saw it with a buddy of mine, and we were just like, that kind of deep belly laugh where you're like, your stomach hurts and you're crying from laughing so hard. That was that movie. That entire movie.
Oh, those are so great. But they're also
Kung Pao.
It's such a stupid
look
movie,
it up.
but
it's so dumb, but it's so funny.
Yeah.
Just because it makes fun of that stuff. You know what movie? You probably haven't seen this here. This is
with the naked girl. Oh, I love the cover. Some chick with a bikini on.
Typical 80s. Typical 80s SWAT.
Baywatch, dude.
You ever seen this? Hard Bodies.
No, but I'm gonna. Let me see.
So hold on, let me just read the synopsis and I'll give you the Blu-ray. When three middle-aged geezers move into a swinging beach house, they hire a young stud to teach them how to score with the local beauties. 80s band Vixen and hundreds of Southern California's hottest swimsuit models co-star in the legendary cult comedy Hard Bodies, starring Grant Kramer, Teal Roberts, Gary Wood.
I'm so watching this. Is this like American Pie before American Pie, hey?
It's a guilty pleasure. It's got some pretty funny scenes in it too. You'd probably enjoy it. You ever seen Weekend at Bernie's?
No, but I should.
It's kind of got that vibe to it. It's, you know.
I've heard about that movie so many times. It's like, that's a cult classic.
It is, yeah.
It's also pretty quotable, I think.
Yeah.
Not really, no.
Well, it's like that and Revenge of the Nerds and stuff like that, those movies, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't hold up well when you rewatch them. There's one scene in particular in that movie that just doesn't work now. They would get canceled immediately. They'd never be able to do it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I love stuff like that. I mean, I have a lot of those types of 80s movies. I like hunting around and finding movies that never were super successful, but they have a bit of a cult following for whatever reason. I like stuff like that. Yeah, is there anything that comes to mind that you've watched? Like, have you watched any low budget sort of movies that never really were super successful?
Like recently, you'd say?
Just at any point.
I mean, you know what movie is so scary to me even till now is, I don't know if you heard of The Strangers. Came out in 2008.
I've heard of it.
So
what is that about? Just give me a quick synopsis without spoiling it.
A couple in their house get terrorized by a random family. And the reason why that scares me more is because that could actually happen. Like, people are crazy, man. People are really
That's the best kind. The stuff that's actually realistic.
Like, a family
gets to you.
A group of human beings could decide we are going to go kill some people tonight and just do it for fun for no fucking reason at all. Go to a house and terrorize a family and do the worst things that you could. That is believable. I can believe people doing that, right?
So that actually might even cause you to not sleep at night because you think somebody could break into my house right now.
But also, so when people say, oh, I get really scared and I can't fall asleep because of that, you know how I think about it? Try me, motherfucker. Come try terrorize me. I'll go out swinging, man. That's the thing, man.
So it doesn't even scare you. I'll be
terrified. Enough. I'll be terrified that, you know, a group of people with masks on are coming at me with, you know, weapons and shit, trying to do the utmost harm on me. But I like a challenge. Let's go. Let's get after it. That's the thing too. Like, if a horror movie is coming alive in real life, I'm not going out without a fucking fight. We're going. Even with a demon, like a fucking ghost or a vicious entity, I'll do something. I'll throw vinegar at it or something. I don't know.
But you're not going to be able to do anything with a ghost, an apparition. Right?
We'll see what we can do. I'll see what I can do.
You're gonna have to. Yeah, you're gonna have to
do whatever I can. I'll start running around naked. I don't know. Maybe it's into that. I don't know. If it's into it, then fuck me. I'm done. That's the thing. Like, people always say, like, oh, like, what if this happens in real life? What if this actually comes true? It's like, all right, let's get it going. Let's fucking try me. It's fun. And what? Like, you want to wake up and go to your 9 to 5 all day? Why not fight a couple?
Well, when I was a kid, I was just obsessed with those Ghostbuster movies. So I got, like I was saying earlier, I really believed for a while that they were real and that you could trap them. I know it sounds silly and stuff like that, but I was super young.
You ever thought of this, dude? This is pretty fucking weird to think about. So, you know how Michael Myers doesn't die?
Yeah.
You actually cannot kill the guy.
That's why I never liked those movies, because he's not supernatural. But they kind of turned him into this unstoppable force.
Okay, so I watched a video review on YouTube, and apparently what they're trying to get at is that he's evil personified, and you can't kill evil. Like, you cannot destroy evil. Evil's always there. So he's so evil that you cannot.
but that's so like I'm saying, they went at the supernatural. They took the supernatural angle.
Okay, how much would this fuck?
Even in the late the Halloween, whatever the last two, where they brought back Jamie Lee Curtis.
I didn't see the very last one.
Right, and you can see Michael Myers. He's in jail. He's an older man, right? He's in his late 60s, probably, maybe even 70.
Yeah,
he's still this tall, like behemoth, like hulking guy. But still, like that guy takes so much abuse. Like, there's no way that guy's body would it be able to.
Well, it also doesn't make sense because in one of the Halloweens, he's just a kid, and then he grows up to being not killable.
It doesn't make any sense.
But this is what I was going to tell you. I was going to ask you. Wouldn't this fuck with you all the time if you knew Michael Myers was alive, but he was locked up in a cage in a dungeon far, far in like a desert underground with like 17 layers of fucking.
Would that worry me that he
steel?
Actually was alive?
Michael Myers himself is just alive and well, shackled to the ground of cement.
I don't think so.
Wouldn't that fuck with you a little bit? Like, this guy is alive, except there's no way he can.
Well, think about it this way. But if
he gets free,
there's how many people incarcerated in jail that have done really bad things? Are you worried about those people?
Yeah.
Do you think about those people?
You can kill those people. You can't kill Michael Myers. That's the difference.
No, I think you could kill Michael Myers. That's the whole point, though. That's why I never really liked those movies, because he's human.
No, okay, but I'm
shoot him in the head.
Saying
he's
hypothetically, done. Alex, he's been shot in the head. I've seen him be shot in the head.
Oh, that's why I don't like those.
Dr. Loomis, fuck, rest his soul, Dr. Loomis. I don't know why they never chop his head off.
I mean,
just chop his head off, or is his neck just not choppable?
I don't know.
If you chop his head off,
that's where you lose me with those movies. The believability aspect is totally gone.
Like, no one's ever thought about
if it's going to be supernatural, then let it be supernatural, and the movie can exist and will make sense by the rules that they've set for that movie. But if it's just a guy, a human being that goes around like a psychopath that goes around killing people, I just don't believe that guy's body can take that much abuse and still live. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, I think they made it pretty clear that you can't kill him because he's been shot multiple times and he's alive.
I guess that's part of.
So they've confirmed the fact that you cannot.
Like, if I took a baseball bat now and I broke a baseball bat across your chest, like, you'd be down. There's no way you would get up and
yeah, but why are you comparing me to Michael Myers? Why?
I'm just saying, those movies are fucking ridiculous.
I just don't understand why they can't just decapitate his ass.
Yeah,
like grab a big chainsaw and start working.
Bury his head on the other side of the world.
Yeah, because his head is like, if his body gets up and starts doing his work for him, then you're severely fucked. But
yeah,
just like dismember his limbs. Like, just have his torso. His torso's not gonna do anything. Yeah, there's a lot of loopholes there.
We could talk all day about loopholes, but we should talk about
boundaries.
You wanted to talk about boundaries.
Oh, and also I have another thing I want to talk about, but that'll be later. Yeah, boundaries, man.
Are you having a problem with boundaries in relationships and family and friends and all that sort of stuff? You've obviously been thinking about this.
Yeah, it's been a few days where I've kind of socially just taken a step back and haven't been replying to a lot of people. And it's not something, I'm not mad at anyone. I'm not upset at anything. It's just.
Do you feel that people are crossing boundaries, that are you trying to create some separation there?
Do you ever get asked to go hang out or do something and you say no because you feel like if you went to this hangout or this event or whatever, that you wouldn't be 100% yourself?
Yes.
And you don't want.
I just say no.
You don't want to be in that situation where another person will think, oh, what is up with Alex or what is up with Mo? Because you're not 100% there. Something's off. Yeah. I don't ever want to be in that position. So then ultimately what I do is I just say, no, I can't hang out. But then I feel weird doing that because I feel like I'm being antisocial or weird.
I don't think you're being antisocial. I think you're being honest too, because you're weighing the pros and cons of actually being there. And do you feel like if you,
I don't know.
do you feel like if you
withdrawn a little bit?
Do you feel like do you feel obligated in a way though to socialize in that kind of environment?
If I feel like I don't do it, I know automatically I'm gonna think I'm weird or something's off. Something might be.
Give me a little more context. What is it about without revealing any identities? What is it about what's the relationship between you and this person? Is this a friend? Is this a business kind of exchange? What is it? Do you feel like it's going to, if it is a work relation thing?
It's all friendships.
Is it going? Okay, so it's all friendships.
Yeah.
Right. And do you feel that would put your friendship at risk if you didn't go, or something else?
I wouldn't put my friendship at risk. It wouldn't like end the friendship. Obviously not. There's nothing. Not with none of my friends. If I say no to a hangout, they're not gonna just end it and say, "Oh, I'm not gonna hang out with Mo ever again." I don't know. I just feel like my social battery has been kind of maxed out for a little bit, for a few weeks, where I don't feel as social. I don't want to.
Are you just taking a sabbatical? You're just taking a break from? I just need to separate. I just need a little more breathing room, kind of.
A little bit.
Feel a little suffocated.
Kind of just want to like stay home and just watch TV or.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You just take a break, right?
I'm not naturally a guy that's like that though. I like social interaction. I know I do. That's how I've always been in my life. So when that happens, I automatically think something's wrong.
And that's troubling you because you're not normally like that. Like, so
for example, today
you feel like maybe do you feel like there's something wrong with why am I feeling
why
this
am I
way?
feeling like this? What is this? Is this a symptom of depression? Is this a symptom of something?
So you're weighing like all these things are going through your mind. Like what is it? What's going on with
what is going on? Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. It's worth thinking.
Because I'm aware of it. I'm aware that I'm being that way. And
can I say it's probably because, as you get towards the age of 30, you're just maturing. These are things you start to think about more when you get older. You start to think about all these things that you probably just wouldn't really contemplate.
Well, what is it? Why wouldn't I go hang out with my friend though? Can I give you an example?
I mean, I feel this way too, even with my friends. And actually, oftentimes I feel guilty that I don't stay in touch with people. You ever feel guilty that, I should call this person more? I should,
Of course.
Like even people that you consider like, this is a good friend of mine, and I haven't talked to him in 3-4 months. Maybe
you get
longer.
Anxiety from that.
Yeah, you're like, oh my God, it's been I actually been thinking about this lately. I haven't seen a friend of mine. He's a really good guy. And the last time I saw him was before I went to that trip to Greece, which was the end of August of last year.
Yeah.
And it's actually not uncommon for us to go many months like that without hanging out, but it does make me feel guilty because I'm busy and I have a lot of stuff going on, and I'm struggling to balance making time for people, and that's a serious challenge for me, right? Because you do a lot, right? You went to school, you did that, you're working now, and you have a job, you're coaching people on the side, you're doing that, you're trying to make this podcast happen and make it a success.
And ironically, that's the podcast. I'm talking to people.
Right.
That's what I'm doing.
And like we talked about earlier, you're now trying to make this a job. You're trying to treat it like a job. You're treating it with the seriousness that it needs, right? So you're probably going through a bit of that too. I imagine that's actually maybe even.
Do you think that'd be a big part of it?
I think that's probably why, because you're doing a lot of stuff and you're trying to juggle all this stuff and make time. You probably, I don't know this for certainty, but it sounds like maybe you're not, you may have been a person in the past to go to parties and go to clubs and stuff like that. Maybe you're not doing that as much anymore.
Not clubbing.
Do you miss that at all?
Not really. I mean, I'm happy where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm happy about the fact that I have all these responsibilities, but I also know that being connected and having friends and doing things with friends is very important to me, because I've been in a place where I've totally shut that part out, and it's been.
And you don't want to feel isolated either.
I don't want, yeah, man, and
right?
I don't want to.
It's easy to feel that way.
Yes,
very easy.
It quickly, like within.
I feel it too, because I barely leave my apartment sometimes. I'm like, what am I doing? I can't even be bothered to leave my house and walk across the street to the store. It's like, got to cross the street to buy groceries. Right? And this is something that I feel like we touched on this too with various therapists that we've had on the show, like Larry Green. He talked a lot about isolation, and not just during the last 3 years over the pandemic, but there's this growing trend of isolation, right? And which is weird, because technology has allowed us to be more connected than ever with people. Think about that. We have, like, you could pick up your phone and you could talk to somebody in another time zone across the world instantaneously.
Yeah.
Right? But in a way, all that technology has made us more isolated and not more connected, because we never see people face to face anymore. Right? So in a way, we're more we've created these silos.
It kind of gives people the out to not try to see other people in person.
Yeah, because why? It was like, oh, well,
I've already talked to each other.
I already talked to you online. Why do you want to hang out?
Right. I never thought about that.
And it makes you wonder too about the future of communication. What is this going to look like 10, 20, 30, 40, even well after the two of us are gone? What is that going to look like?
We're just going to
look. How are humans beings going to interact?
Yeah. People are just going to look at each other and not
speak. Virtual reality too, right? Like all this trend of AIs putting people out, putting a lot of jobs. That's going to happen. A lot of basic menial tasks are going to be gone, right? So we got to think about, as a society, what are we going to do?
Well, I think a big problem of mine is I spread myself a little too thin. I make these connections and relationships with so many different people, and then I feel like I'm obligated to, like, uphold those relationships. And
where does that come from?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, don't you have a core group of people that you probably could count on one hand?
Yes, I do.
You feel like, so why do you spend time with those people?
I do, yeah.
All right. So why do you feel, because you can't be everywhere all the time. So why do you think that is, that you feel like you need to, with all these other connections that you've made?
Fear of abandonment, fear of being alone and being lonely. Because I'm an only child too, man. I think that's a big part of it. I don't know.
Could be.
There would be a lot of unpacking to do.
I had a sister when I grew up, so I don't know what that's like, but I do know when. It's funny because my sister, we've always had a fairly good relationship, but when I was a kid, it was always a struggle to spend time with her, because I would always want to do things. I would want to, like, play and stuff like that, and she just didn't want to do any of that. She would just want to sit in her room, read a book. And it was so frustrating. I just remember so many times complaining to my parents, Julia won't play with me. Yeah. My parents would have to try to force her, and she would always want to do her own thing by herself.
But deep down, you knew you had someone there for you. If all came to the worst case scenario, you have someone.
So I'm not trying to say it's the same thing that you went.
Me, it's different, man.
Child,
I have to make my own.
Yeah, you had to have a lot of friends.
You know what I mean? So if I was to stay in all day and not do anything, I'd be fucked. I'd be completely fucked. If I just decide, like, I have to force myself to go out, because if I don't, I'm gonna be alone.
Let me ask you this. So, like, right now you're single, right?
I am.
Yeah. So the last time you were seeing somebody, did you have the same thoughts, or did it help having a partner? Have you ever lived together with somebody?
No.
Okay. But when you had a relationship, did you feel different when you had someone more to spend time?
Yeah, with my ex, it was different. I actually, I was fine. I was fine with avoiding my friends, because I knew I was gonna be with my girlfriend.
Right, because if you're not with them, then you're with her. Right?
And we're gonna have fun and do whatever. And right. So I that was a time where I did the wrong thing by pushing my friends away a little bit more without me realizing it, because I was with my girlfriend, with my ex during that time, and
I've had that struggle.
I was so blinded by it.
I had an ex-girlfriend one time that she was I don't know if possessive is the right word, but it was hard to make time to do other stuff because she was very clingy.
That's possessive.
And it wasn't the healthiest relationship.
Yeah.
She was very much about like spending time with her and not so much. It's not that I didn't go out to parties and didn't see friends, and she had her own friends, but it definitely was, the focus was definitely on her. And I realize now that I'm glad that I moved on, because it wasn't
toxic as shit. Yeah.
It's not very healthy. You need to have a partner that is supportive, that is, and sometimes your friends are not going to get along with your significant other. That's fine. And sometimes your significant other might not like all your friends, but they still need to be supportive in that these are your friends. You have to accept that and realize that you got to be able to spend time away from each other too, because it can kind of make you crazy, especially if you live with someone, to spend all that time together. So I think for me, like, and what I look for in other people too is I do like, because I'm a very independent person, I like people that are independent. Like we need to create space for each other.
Yeah.
Like, you need to be able to have hobbies, your own hobbies, and I have to have my own hobbies, and we have to find a way to make both of those work, right? Otherwise you just go kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
You can't spend all your time.
Well, it's pretty basic shit, dude, I would say.
You would think, but it's a problem in a lot of relationships, right? Some people just don't want you to have hobbies. They get possessive about your time.
Well, I mean,
I'll
cross that bridge.
Or like, why are you playing golf all the time when we could be going out and doing stuff?
Yeah, that would stress me the fuck out. That would really stress me out.
Yeah, it's funny with my parents. My dad, I was just having a conversation with him a couple of days ago about photography, because he's always wanted to learn about photography, and he took some courses, bought a nice camera, started getting into it, and he would take the camera on vacation with him to try to shoot some nice photos. And my mom would be bitching, complaining, "You're taking too long. Why did you bring that with you? Like, put it away." Like, not supportive of him having a hobby. And then she just berates him for, it's funny, but she berates him for not doing anything with the photography thing. Like, "Oh, you never used that camera." Well, yeah, and he didn't say anything to her. This was over at the dinner table. She walked away. And it's like, well, yeah, I don't do anything with the camera, because when I take it, you just constantly bitch and complain about it, that I'm taking too long. And it takes time when you're taking a camera and you want to shoot a scene. It takes time. Like, if you're going out specifically to, I'm going to take my camera and I'm going to take some good photos, it takes time to set up the photo. And if you're not going to be supportive of that hobby, why do you think I don't use the camera anymore? And this is a thing with my parents too, all the time. Their dynamic, it's so weird. Yeah. She always complains about him.
Could be worse.
Like giving up on hobbies, but then she's not supportive of the hobby either.
Tough world.
So what are you going to do about that?
Fuck. God damn it.
Does that ever happen to you? You haven't, like...
not that I can think
of. Your hobbies are what? Golf? Basketball?
Come in. I'm kidding.
That's not really a hobby. That's a past. I don't know. I don't know what
kidding.
that is.
Yeah, hobbies, golf, boxing.
Because golf is kind of an all-day thing, right? If you're going to play a
4 or
course.
5 hours, yeah.
Right. Was that ever a problem?
I haven't had anyone bitch at me for golfing too much.
Yeah, that's good.
As of now.
So what other boundary issues are you having? Is it just friendship stuff?
Well,
family.
Here's
a tricky thing with
here's
family.
how I think of it. It's not a family thing. With friends, knowing, like yesterday, I knew that today I'm going to come onto this podcast. We're going to talk for about an hour and a half of just strictly talking. How much energy am I going to have after this? Like, I know I have a pretty good sense of how much energy supply I have within me throughout a day.
Yeah.
And I can only use that energy supply for so many things. Let's use a unit of 100. I'm using 50 units of my energy on the podcast. I have 50 units to spare. So I have 50 units to spare. I have it, maybe at the gym. I go to the gym and there's someone that I know and I start talking to. That's 10 units. I go to boxing and that's another 10. So now I have 30 units left, right? And different people require different amounts of units, right? Like if I know someone that I need to be fully engaged with at all times, that really keeps you on your toes.
Spend more mental energy.
It's going to take 50 units. There's a surplus of units that I need. So I have a 20 unit deficit that I can't, where am I going to get that 20 units from, right?
It's got to come from somewhere.
From somewhere, right? And that might come from, just like if I was to hang out with someone that requires 50 units and I have 30 units left, after it, I'm going to be completely toast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Completely toast. And that's just how I am now. Right? I don't know if that's a sign of me getting older or just more
probably
cranky.
older.
Like, am I being
older and wiser?
Am I becoming more cranky? Am I becoming more antisocial? Maybe. I don't know what it is, man.
Antisocial. I don't think so. Not by the definition of that. I don't think so. But I definitely feel, because I'm older than you.
But that makes sense. Like that energy supply.
It does. No, I absolutely agree. It's interesting analogy you're talking about.
Or like going like for this.
I never really thought about it that way, too.
Yeah.
But you're right. There is a finite number. There is a finite energy, and you are right. You're. It's like a pie. You're carving it up.
Yeah.
Right? And then once all those slices are gone, that's it.
Well, that's what people talk about social battery. Like when that battery is empty, like where am I gonna get it from? Like if I was to go, if we were to do this,
you gotta recharge.
I gotta recharge. Like this podcast right now. What we were going for about
hour and
45 minutes, right? I'm pretty much at 65 to 70 units right now. Let's say I was supposed to go on a first date tonight.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I would probably go on the first day, but I would have a lot of anxiety because I know my mental is not. My mental resources are just fucking malnourished to the freaking brink. Right? Like I'll probably go on the date.
This doesn't fire you up. Do you find that you're mentally exhausted after doing this type of show?
I'm not mentally exhausted. I mean, it's not hard for me. It's not. I'm not.
You're not. You don't feel drained though after doing this type of
drained
thing?
In a good way.
Yeah.
As in,
you enjoy doing it.
I enjoy doing it, but talking for an hour and 45 is a pretty hard thing to do. I mean, you couldn't talk for an hour and 45 with your mom if you wanted to, right? Like you gotta just keep going. And maybe there is a way to increase that threshold of energy supply. Maybe get it to 150 units, 200 units. I mean, maybe there is a way. Being mindful, being present. I don't know. But my point is, I love all my friends. I love everything they give to me. I love the value they provide to me, just emotionally, support and everything, the fun. They're my friends. That's what a friend is. It's also part of me where I think I overthink it, where I need, I want them to have the 100% me at all times. I don't want my friend to ever leave the hangout or my place thinking, Mo was a little off.
I think that's a good quality.
What's up with Mo? Like,
that's a good quality to have because you're empathetic to their own feelings and how they also perceive you. And
but I'm overthinking it though.
Maybe,
but that's the thing. I've asked a few of my friends this before. It's a weird question to ask. I've asked them, "Oh, was I being weird during that hangout?" They're like, "No, you're fine. We didn't think of it." So it's also part of me making up thoughts.
You're in your own head.
I'm in my own head.
Yeah.
Common theme about me, right?
Yeah. I can get that way too. It
fucks with me.
Well, just like last night, and it was a real learning experience too, but I almost had a mental breakdown because I know what
at the lamplighter?
Yeah, so I did I did live sound for a band last night, and I took a piece of equipment that I barely had the time. I took this new digital console that super complicated, didn't really spend a lot of time with it to know the ins and outs of how it works, you're gonna use your phone there. And I thought I had got it working perfectly. I reset the whole thing, and I show up to the venue, and I had a bunch of technical issues where couldn't get the sound on stage working properly, and it was a not a hardware problem, but it was me not understanding how to route some of the signals in the console, and we were well past the point where we were supposed to be doing a sound check, and so people are pressuring me like, we got to get the sound check, like, is this gonna work?
Oh, that would fucking freak me out.
I felt like the whole room was looking at me. I felt like an idiot. I felt unprofessional, and I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have taken a piece of equipment that I was not 100%, because that's terrible. These people are paying me to do a job, and I show up with a piece of gear that I don't know how to use properly. And anyways, I did a few workarounds, and then I got everything working finally. But then I ran into another problem. So I brought 4 sets of speakers, and 2 of them were not working properly.
Oh.
I was getting a lot of bass and no high end. There's something wrong with the tweeters on those speakers. So I had to get rid of those, replace them with the other ones, and then it was fine. Bottom line, the sound was awesome. The show went great. They sounded great. Everyone was super happy in the end. But that was a real lesson to learn. Don't bring a piece of equipment that you're not fully comfortable with. But I got to tell you, it got to a point where I was ready to just walk away and say, see ya. I was just, my chest, the amount of anxiety I was feeling, it was not something I'm used to. I don't really get anxiety a lot. And what got me through it was, no, I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. My job is to get this band going, to make this show a success. I got to do whatever the fuck it's going to take to make this work. And I got it working, and I'm glad I did, because it would have really damaged my reputation if I just packed it up and went, see ya,
Well, I think that's a big part of why you didn't leave. Because if you left, you would have been.
Oh, it would have been way worse. Way worse. I don't want.
No, just forget about the fact that just leaving on the job, like right there. But like the aftermath, what you were gonna go through,
way worse, because they would have just, that word would have got around that this guy's just.
Oh yeah, you would have. Yeah,
just gonna abandon you in the middle of a show. Like the band's about to go on stage and they've got no speaker system.
Yeah. I mean, if you knew, like, if you just left right in that moment, nothing else was gonna happen, you could have probably left, and you probably.
But I weighed the consequences of way higher. Way higher.
What could fucking
transpire
out of this? Oh God!
In the end, it was
you would have
fine.
been done, dude.
Yeah, I would have been, and I'm glad I persevered, and glad I got it working, because it was a great show in the end, and I had fun. I had fun mixing it, and the band sounded good, so it worked out. But it was one of those situations where it was so bad. And it kind of just piled on because something bad happened earlier on in the week at work, and I don't want to say what it is, but I was driving home, and I've never felt this. I've never had an anxiety attack. I was driving home, and I thought I was having a heart attack. It really freaked me out. My whole chest locked up. I felt a sharp pain, like right here. I'm like having trouble breathing. I'm like, what is happening right now? I got home, and I laid down for a few minutes, turned the air conditioner on, just like breathed, just relaxed, made dinner, had a good meal, and then I felt totally fine after. There was nothing wrong. And I'm pretty sure it was just the anxiety of, I screwed up. Did something wrong, and I felt it. My body was telling me that. It was just that guilt of like, I can't believe I did this. And it's never happened to me before. I don't know if you've ever had an anxiety attack, but it's not something I would ever want to have happen again.
Go through again,
yeah.
Sounds about right. It's probably an anxiety attack.
Larry Green talked about that too on that episode, when, it made me think that that's not a heart attack. This is just an anxiety attack. I just remembered all the things that he was saying. And when we had Andrew, was his name Andrew?
Harvey?
No, the other therapist.
Aaron
Johnston, right? And he was talking about how, you do feel that, like, that pressure right in your chest, and That's what got me through it. It's just thinking about the words that he said.
Your mind is trying to figure out what the fuck is happening.
Yeah. And I think looking back now, why I thought that too is because I know I'm a really hard worker and I take pride in what I do, and people see it. You know, it's funny enough going back quickly.
Do you think the thing that happened is as bad as you think it is, or you're making it into something that's not as bad?
I don't know. My boss is back from vacation on Tuesday, so we'll talk about it and we'll see. But it wasn't something that was intentional at all.
Can you tell me after?
I'll tell you after. I'll tell you after. But it's because I take my job very seriously. I'm a very high performer. I do whatever it takes to get the job done. I care about my customers that I deal with. I care about the reputation of the company. And, you know, there's a reason why I've been promoted and I've worked my way up. And there's a reason why I've gotten to that place, because I worked my ass off. And so I started thinking, right before the anxiety attack, I started thinking about all those things and started thinking about, I've messed this up. I've spent 4 years. Everything's in jeopardy now. I've done, all this has gone out the window. Yeah. Right. And it's a really awful feeling, because I felt like everything's out of control.
Dude, do you think
everything's spiraling out of control right now?
Do you think at any point you could have sat back and convinced yourself that if all those things that you were thinking of, all those the things going in jeopardy, like the worst case scenario, if all those things actually did happen and it fucking happened,
mm-hmm.
could you have gotten yourself to a place where you could go like that is a next level of stoicism, dude. That is the next level of stoicism.
I had some really dark, I thought about that, and I had some really, really dark thoughts, because I remember one time in another job where what I did at that other job was way worse than this was completely an accident. But I did something at a job. I said something that I wasn't supposed to. And then because of this, you know, the software that we use and how we communicate in the company, I try to cover my tracks by deleting something so that it wouldn't exist. And people found out about that, and it damaged my reputation. And it took me, I thought about it, it really messed me up for years after that. I felt like I needed to really do some deep introspection about my own character. That why did I do that? I should have just owned up to it. I should have just, it is what it is. I said it. I shouldn't have covered my tracks. And it started making me think of, really take a hard look at myself as a person. I started really thinking about, I'm a liar. I'm not honest. And, you know, I'm never like that. So why did I do that time? And it really messed me up, and I felt like it had to. So when this happened, not the same scenario, but I started feeling that way. Like I've screwed up. I'm gonna have to, like, I don't know what's gonna happen to me. And I started having really dark thoughts too. I'm like, this can't happen again. Can't go through that again. And I don't know what I would do, but I had some really dark thoughts about, like, I'm not sure I really want to live through that again.
Your happiness is dependent on that, your external, the job.
Yeah.
And in the most simplest way, I don't know.
I think you're right.
That's what, you know, Ali, the therapist, also said. When your happiness and your feeling of stability, like your level of stability is it's dependent on your job. If this kind of thing happens, you don't want to go through that. You don't want to live like,
no, because my job.
That's what I'm saying. Could you have gone into a place where just pure acceptance and forgiveness and just, all right, that if the worst case scenario does happen, I'll be fine because I'm here in the present. Right? Like, it's a hard way.
I don't think I'm gonna lose my job because of it, and the reason for that is because my boss knows that I'm a high performer. And he's rewarded me that way with raises and giving me more, taking on more responsibility. And I think I built up enough goodwill that I know he doesn't want to lose me, because he said that. So I think because of that I wouldn't lose my job because of it. I just can't help but feel that people, they won't look at me maybe the same way because I messed up in that specific scenario.
Man, what did you do? I want to know. After, you tell me after.
I have to tell you, I can't say what this is off air on air because, yeah, it really bothers me. You know, when you do something and you feel like, I don't know if you've experienced this, but you feel like people look at you differently, and it just eats away at you. Has that ever happened to you, where you've done something like not at work specifically, just like say anything in life? Maybe you made a decision about something, and it kind of backfired. And you feel like people are looking at you and judging you differently. And if not, I mean, that's fine. But I mean, you can imagine.
It would have to be
not a good feeling.
Astronomically brutal. I mean, I've done things where
I'm pretty hard on myself. I think that's part of the problem.
You got to tell me what it is, because I feel like it might not even is, you're overreacting. I don't know. You know it better than me. I'm not gonna tell you if you're overreacting, because how you're reacting is how you're reacting. What you think of it is what it is. You got me anxious,
like,
dude.
Just one giant.
You did get me anxious. You did get me anxious.
Last bit of the podcast, one giant therapy session.
Yeah, dude. I really want to wrap it up just to fucking know what's up.
We should talk about. Well, we'll keep it under wraps for now. But we have some good guests lined up. We're always working on more guests.
We're always working. Yeah. Well, on Wednesday, I'm gonna head out.
I'm curious if there's anybody that listens to the show that maybe there's anyone that they want us to have on. People should let us know more often. We get occasional comments about that. There was one on Instagram a couple of weeks ago, about a specific topic that came under the whole therapy umbrella, mental health aspect. Because I think people really like those episodes that we do on mental health.
I like those too.
So I think we should.
Those are free therapy sessions. Yeah, to be honest,
they are free therapy sessions, and I think we should do more of them.
Yeah, we're gonna do a lot more of those. 100%.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Even me, like when I'm in the convo,
you find yourself watching those, listening back.
Yeah. Even after the episode when we're recording, I leave more calm.
Yeah.
So I'm not lying to you. I'm telling you, it's a free therapy session for me, and for a lot of people listening. I hope they.
Well, that episode with psychotherapist Larry Green, I listened to several times over, and I thought it was super beneficial and super helpful.
Well, his voice is also
super calming too, and same with Aaron Johnson too as well. He was just I wish I could hear that voice all the time, because it is so calming and helps you like center yourself as well. So those are two great episodes. If people haven't watched
those, makes
you
feel everything is okay. Everything's all right, man. Like,
yeah,
no matter what you're going through. That's why, man, could you have gone into a place where you could convince yourself to think, no matter what the fuck I'm going through, no matter what's happening around me, I'm good. It's really hard, but if you can get to that point of stoicism, man, you're undefeated. You can conquer anything. No one can fuck with you. No one can fuck with you.
I'm definitely getting better. I feel like this is one of the things. I feel like this is a lifelong journey that you have to work on yourself. Like, do you think that's a fair statement, that you gotta do the work? 100%. You gotta constantly
everyday practice.
You gotta practice
every moment. Absolutely. Every moment, right now, in this moment.
I think it's.
What are you are you stoic right now, or are you not?
Right. And I think it's fair to say that, you're a different person than you were probably 5-10 years ago, right? And 10 years from now, you're probably going to be a more evolved human being.
I hope so.
Right?
For the better.
Right. For the better.
I wish there was a way I could accelerate that and be that 10-year person right now.
Of course.
There's no way, though. I need to experience.
There's no pill that you can take. That's the thing. You just have to put in the time. You have to put in the time, and you have to work at it. And that's kind of... And I actually have found that doing this show, interviewing the caliber of guests some of the guests that we've had too, and I really want to keep going down that trajectory, is because I think that's been helpful to me when we have those kind of guests, those high caliber guests. I think that elevates the conversation, and it elevates for me that I leave that session feeling better.
I'm learning new things, man.
Yeah, me too.
I leave every session thinking, wow, I learned a lot. I gained a lot. I've become a better person doing that episode as the host.
That's how it should be. Yeah.
You know what I really want? I want some philosophy guests on, some philosophers.
That's a good one.
That will get you going.
Yeah.
I will be so into that.
Yeah, let's work on that.
There's any philosophers out there or people that know other people that are in philosophy or are passionate about philosophy and want to talk, let us know. DM us. Always DM us, man. We're open.
Absolutely.
We're open to fucking suggestions and whatever, whoever guests. If they know anyone that they want to come on or you want to come on, right? DM us.
All right. Good chat.
Good chat, man. Jury 24. I like that. Peace.